Twos in the chat for Becky. I'm just curious.
Holy shit. My head feels so free, dude. It feels so free.
How was the wind?
The wind? Oh, fucking tubular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it something
gnarly?
So are you going to grow your hair back out, or are you thinking maybe?
Yeah, I'm going to grow it back out because I feel like it's going to be cool to see like the whole like growth process and everything and like all of the different styles that I'll be able to do with it like as it's getting longer. So yeah, I'm going to grow it back out.
Young low tier god, no glaze, but 2. Okay. But everybody else is
young low tier god.
Everybody else is 1. That's beautiful.
If low tier god was actually in our chat right now, I think I would have like a fucking aneurysm.
So would you go full like fangirl if you ever came on the show?
Yes. The fuck? He's one of my favorite lolcows, dude. He is fucking crazy. He is crazy. Yeah, I want to talk to that dude.
I'd be afraid to break NDA, unfortunately.
I'd probably...
Not NDA. Fuck, I'm so fucking tired. He'd break TOS. He'd break TOS.
Oh,
what the fuck did I say? NDA?
For sure he would. But
yeah,
I would try my best to not piss him off, but it would be really hard because he gets easily triggered.
That's beautiful. All right, let's continue this because this is hilarious.
You're a fucking idiot of a boss who can't appreciate shits. Fuck you, Kim. That's what I'm sorry for. I bet you he's not gonna fire me, because if he would, fucking do it now, because I don't want to be here. Fucking do it now, and let the world see that you're the one who's setting me up, and that you're the one who's willing to walk away, because I'm fucking not. I said from the beginning, when I retried out for this show, that I can endure. Well, guess what, bitch? I can fucking endure. Try me. Frankly, I just want to end the fucking stream right now.
Am I making you crash out right now? Is it all?
Yeah, you've been trying to make me crash out for days.
No, Becky crashes out.
No, you've been trying to get me to crash out for days, including trying to get me to pay $2,000 that I don't owe.
Beautiful. Thank you, Local Alerts. I just wanted to give y'all some Becky, since we know she's been gone dealing with her family issues, and legitimately like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like mask off. I hope she's doing well. And I hope she's healing. Right, whatever she needs to do to heal, I hope she is. Mama's the bomb with the 199. Good morning, Coffee Colt. That's beautiful. Thank you. That is awesome.
I think she's coming back tomorrow because I thought she was coming back today, and then somebody was like, "No, she was able to take off like until Monday." So I don't think she'll be back today. Probably tomorrow. But I hope she's doing well in regards to like that whole situation because that just sucks. I do genuinely feel bad about that.
So there's a low tier god giving dating advice in 2025 and telling his stories. This is actually on his channel. This isn't a clip channel.
Oh.
Hold on. Who's that? Who that? Scrimpy. Scrimpy with the 1 gifted. Thank you, Scrimpy.
Scrimpy.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. We're at 441, guys. So we are officially, 59 memberships away from a Bigfoot cooking stream.
Oh my God. Let's get it.
And remember, y'all don't got to TTS me ingredients. I'm just going to cook. Probably going to do a lot of Greek food, right? And if y'all want to like TTS something for me to...
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, whenever this video is going to be uploaded. Oh boy, Monday was interesting. Very interesting event happened. Well, interesting in the sense that in some areas it was kind of boring, in other areas it got kind of heated. What I mean by that is particularly with this whole situation with good old popstars, some dealing with Boogie, and some dealing with, Rastov, and then apparently later on there was no milker. There was a queen, but no milker. I wonder why. Hopefully we get some info about that later today. But let's start with good old Cafe. They could have did some coverage over the weekend. They talked about their weekend stream. They talked about a little bit of stuff relating to a little bit of the Becky stuff, old stuff, but they still went over it. And then mostly they were talking about Low Tier God. If you're not aware who Low Tier God, he is a streamer, I believe, on either Twitch or Kick. And he's been around for a while. I think he's been around since at least for a while. I just know he's been around for a long time, and he's a big time lolcow. I would even say probably much bigger than most lolcows nowadays. He's probably more successful, but compared to most, he is very excessive. He has a tendency to drop the N-word very casually in his stream, and from what I understand, it's not very hard to trigger him. And it's interesting that they like Low Tier God. I've tried to watch Low Tier God in the past. Not my thing, really. Don't really care enough for the guy, but we're gonna keep moving on because the rest of the day was a little bit of up and down for everybody. But let's get with the show.
We got her points out. It'll just be easier for everybody up here. Is my mic good at this distance? Is this good?
Yep, you're good. Okay, I'm watching
Okay.
your stream now.
All right, is it full screen?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. So guys, welcome to lolcowlive, a popstar production. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most dramatic doll? Is it me? Is it Beans? Or is it Sweet Tea? Let's find out. Exhibit A. Miss Beans claims to not want any drama. But what's this? Nah, I'm tired of drama. I have enough shit going on in my life. But that's kind of crazy. Girl, Sweet Tea, that's kind of crazy given the fact that on Saturday you sent me this message. Only person that don't want drama is you. Isn't that kind of odd considering the fact that before all this transpired Sunday and Monday, you were sitting there yapping your mess. Oh, I'm a nice girl. I'm so sweet. I'm this, that, and the third. I'm innocent. I've done nothing wrong. Da 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 da. But yet, is this not you right here advocating that you are a puppeteer, you're an orchestrator, and you deliberately make plans and ploys to start drama and to start mess? So here's the mess that you would like. Is it C, Meanie Beanie or Nice Beanie? Mind you, Meanie Beanie and Beanie Baby is the nicknames that I gave you. You can try as hard as you want, Beans, but you can't extract the parts of my personality that you love. Because we all know you do it. Like that flower in your name, you just put that there. Anyways, if I want to make it an insult, I would say you drive everyone away because you're a psycho bitch that no one likes. Eat people like garbage and smiles in their face with your fake ass online personality. Use that AI you got to compute how to be more likable. Compute how to be like you. All innocent, all sweet, so nice. What happened to the goody two shoes girl that we saw in cafe? Or was that just a larp and now you're this mean, feisty, fierce, empowered woman? And our lovely Paulians and our deadliest delinquents, we have Black, White, Belladonna, and John Pork Milkers. Mr. John Milkers. You crawled out of the hole where no one has seen you from just to hop in VC and hop on me. And that's fine. But don't hate me just because you have male fantasies of getting pregnant by Mr. Twiggy, i.e. you already have the build. Happy Pride Month, bro. Happy Pride Month. John Pork is calling. Who's gonna pick up? Not Keem. Don't worry about John. He's a notorious dick. Keem and I used to be cool with him and buddy, but he fucked up. Yeah, I bet you did fuck up, B. I bet you did fuck up, John. So don't be mad at me. And Cookout Carol. I want to say you're becoming a favorite of mine, but I have to ask you something. How do you feel about black folk giving non-black folk the N-word pass? Well, she sure as shit told me how I feel. So you're against it? Because my boyfriend is black and his parents are black and they fought in the civil rights movement. My father-in-law served this country in the army for 25 years but got hosed down for daring to go onto white-only beaches and makes me so angry because they work so hard for younger generations now to have it easier and just casually give away the N-word pass. It pisses me off, it pisses her partner off, and her partner says anyone who does so is uninvited from the cookout. Thank you, Belladonna. Thank you, Cookout Carol. Hashtag BLM, we love you.
Can I ask one question, Pup?
Yes, yes.
Okay, wait, this might be like two technically. Might have a follow-up. So, okay, wait, this slideshow, it started and we were saying who's the meanest doll of them all, and then we got to Black Belladonna. Is she on the list?
Who's the most dramatic doll? I mean, look, this is an inclusive list, y'all. We got the audience, we got me, we got Beans, we got Sweet Christina's, the doll, lolcow dolls. We include everybody. We are a community. We all stand tall. So yes, make your donos, vote in chat, who it is. These are all your contestants. These are all your candidates.
Okay.
Thank you. And who needs two front teeth when you can have two boyfriends? Not dissing you, Sweet Tea, respect. Miss Sweet Tea, hashtag virtual victim, hashtag two boyfriends, hashtag one kid, hashtag zero teeth. And popstar, aka pup.exe, your open source AI integrated humanoid system here at your service. Why should you vote for me? I'm charismatic, I'm possum, I'm intelligent, I'm creative, I'm funny, and I'm humble. Any questions? Thank you.
So you're supposed to make a whole episode out of a 15-page PowerPoint that you just went over in 8 minutes.
Actually, you're wrong. I came here to speak my piece, to display my PowerPoint. You may discuss, try and have the rest of the episode just carrying it because you said only you two need a show, but you spent all Saturday talking about me, and that's why the show had so many viewers, and you had to call Brantley in. Goodbye, love ya. The fuck?
Oh, that? Wait, I'm so confused right now. I'm so fucking confused. Am I on lack of sleep or what just happened?
Okay. So what happened around dolls was pretty annoying, right? I was kind of interested in seeing what a whole show would be based around Popstar. Or not really based around Popstar, but more or less ran by Popstar. Like, what would she do differently to make dolls very, very entertaining? And I was very disappointed, but at the same time, I remind myself, what do you expect? What do people expect from the LCU? What do people expect from these shows? I feel like certain shows are developing a certain standard, but at the same time, at individual people who watch this kind of stuff, and I'm trying to be very fair, there's almost no expectation or standard that you should have, right? Because one day you can have an amazing show, and the next day you can have a crapshoot. And I would say dolls, since the time it's been around, was almost close to 2 weeks actually, if not a little bit more than 2 weeks, it has, in my opinion, grew. Right, it's already growing its own audience. I think it has 2 or 3 crowns. I would even say, due to interesting factors, people are watching it. But currently, right now, there's some beef between Beans, Sweet Tea against Popstar, just for a number of reasons. And Popstar spent 6 hours on this, not even 10-minute. No, oh my God, this clip is. I think this clip was originally like 6 minutes. She spent 6 hours on a 16-page or maybe even less PowerPoint, which caused a whole bunch of drama. I'm sorry, if you're a doll fan, which I don't know why, if you're a doll fan and you were expecting a whole show ran by Popstar only to be like blue ball by this, I would be demanding a refund. I would be demanding like something, because like she was hyping this up this whole week, right? This was its big hype up, probably even since Friday, and nothing. Like, really? Like that's all. You give us like less than 10 minutes of you, and then you dip out for the rest of the stream thinking it was a W. What? What? It's like if Boogie decided to prove that he has cancer, which he probably does. But he doesn't have cancer. It's like if Boogie during the cancer arc decided to like prove that he has cancer by showing other people who have similar symptoms and then dipping out for the whole stream. That's how. Why? Like, what were you trying to prove? What were you even trying to do? And I feel bad for Zay Zooted, because after this, she had to, like, mind you, she woke up early. Right. She slept late. Then she had to wake up early. Had to host the stream because Popstar was scared that Beans was gonna cuck her. And then she wasn't even really part of the whole stream. Again, like less than 10 minutes. Then you have to transfer the whole stream over to a different OBS user during the stream. Then you have to probably not even like. What, at that point you have like less than an hour and a half, maybe an hour to get your own stream started. And mind you, there was no milker, so she had to stream for 4 hours. Good on her. I would be mad, and she was mad. When we get to nerds, we'll get to nerds. But again, if I was a doll fan, if I was a crown, I would be demanding a refund, because that's like, you're joking. Like, what am I even paying the money for? Why? Like, I feel like this is a really bad joke. Are you kidding? And maybe, again, as I said, my expectations are already low. That is just hit even lower. Like, you're not even hitting bedrock. You're hitting like molten lava, like molten core at that point. Like, that's how low we're hitting. Like, wow. And then imagine probably stroking your own, pride, thinking you did a good job for all this drama. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even pay her for the day. Like, I just wouldn't. Right, like any money I made on that Monday stream, was technically just today, I just wouldn't pay. I just wouldn't pay her. I just straight up would not pay her. I'd be like, no. Like, you cut the content because you were hyping everybody up, and then you dip out. And then there's some other drama. We'll get into those other dramas when we get into it, particularly in Nerd and later on in Queen, relating back to Popstar. But again, imagine being cucked this hard. I can't.
until 4 a.m. last night, which totally fine.
Oh, really?
We usually do our extension streams on Sundays. We love doing extension streams. But then I stayed up till 5 a.m. I got my breakfast, Then went to bed, got my little bit of sleep to wake up for Dolls, to host Dolls today. I was told, even Popstar came on last night. Y'all saw it. She was like, it's going to be a crazy episode. She showed us the thumbnail. She was like, it's going to be crazy. She pulls up, and she pulls out a damn PowerPoint.
I know.
With
don't remind me about the
14
crazy
slides.
PowerPoint. Don't. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Hey, the gadget guy on wheels. Yeah. My dyslexia wanted me to say gadget guy, or guy gadget go gadget.
Precisely.
Go gadget, go gadget, go gadget. Oh, but no, legit. Do you want to talk about it? Because you were there you witnessed the cringe in front of you. I'll let you go first, and I'll tell you my opinion after.
Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you guys were watching, but for those of you who weren't, basically, we started the stream off. I said, whoever wants to go first can air out their grievances, and Pup said she wanted to go first, and she started with a PowerPoint. Now, I already knew she was going to bring a PowerPoint. I knew about this preemptively because she was in a fucking war the other night in the VC with Brantley, like goddamn screaming at Brantley, insisting she has to do this fucking PowerPoint the way she wants to. And I was already asked to host a stream, like, right when I got into that call, and I agreed, and I was told to mediate. So I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna do this PowerPoint, you need to stop between each slide and let Beans respond, because she's telling me she worked 6 hours on that PowerPoint. 6 fucking hours.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's gotta be a lie, right? Please tell me that's a lie. Please tell me that's a lie.
If you spent 6 hours of your life on that fucking PowerPoint, first off, PowerPoints are not for you. Second off, what did you even put in there? John Pork, a pregnant man? What? I literally felt like, I said it multiple times, I felt like I was in a fucking fever dream, like there was no way that was actually the fucking episode, because there's no way that is all she had prepared. The screenshots of Beans were not fucking exposing at all. Like, to be honest, I could do way better than that, and I don't even care to expose Beans. But I could have done that shit 10 times better than she did. Like, it's so obvious that she hasn't been in the LCU for any amount of time, because she has nothing. She had nothing to bring to the table, not a single thing. Like, there's so many things she could have actually went into. What did she go into? Nothing. The only thing in that PowerPoint that was actually interesting was that she leaked DMs between her and Brantley. Like, what?
What the fuck?
Yes!
Oh, that's where you fucked up.
I'm just like, what was the point of that?
Okay. There's no way Jiggle Physics spent 6 hours on that. I've done that in like 5 minutes when I was in like 5th grade in computer class. There's no way. If we were in computer class, the teacher would literally give you an F. That is not good. You did the most hyperactive motherfucking ADHD brain presentation I've ever fucking seen. You try to stay calm, and that is not your character. I'm sorry we're not allowed to play characters, but I'm letting you know your personality is a bombastic, overactive, super loud, super talkative person that crashes out the slide a second. Embrace that. You rejected yourself. What me and Zay went through, we had plenty of tiff. We have disagreements. I feel sometimes inferior, but instead of crashing out on stream, I come on screen and I talk about shit. Don't get me wrong, you've seen what we did. There's a way to handle it. I'm not over here like, this is the presentation. I made a fucking, before me and Zay were co-hosts, I made a video.
So here in Nere, Zay is just letting out her frustration with Buff, who's probably much more mad than Zay because her co-host basically got screwed over. Because if you think about it this way, if Popstar did her show, essentially, Zay would have been doing almost 6 hours straight. 6 hour from from Dolls to Nerds, right? Because typically each stream is 2 hours, but because every time Milker doesn't show up, Nerds goes on for 4 hours. So imagine expecting to work for 4 hours. And in the end, you didn't even really work for 4 hours. You worked probably like you were thinking, oh, well, I'll stay on Dolls for a bit and then get a bit of rest and then do my 2 hour stream. Then only to do 4 hours anyway. If Dolls would have been what it was originally on Monday, she would have probably done 6 hours, and I would have felt bad for her, really. And she has every right to be frustrated. And even Buff has every right. Because, again, it's not about... At this point, it's more about just being cucked at that point. It's more about you doing somebody a favor, right? Because they don't want to be screwed over by their co-host. So you decide to step in and then... No. And I think this is why sometimes, I guess why I can think I'm a lot more fairer than, I guess, other people, especially Clippers or detractors. Because, like, things like this is extremely annoying. Like, imagine, and I've had this happen before, like, imagine going to work, they want you to be there 2 hours early, and then they tell you, oh, we don't need you to be here 2 hours early. So you're already there at your job site 2 hours early. So you do nothing but screw around, go to your regular time, only for them to later on, oh yeah, we need you to work an extra 2 hours. And like that had, like, are you joking? Like, or at that point, I would be extremely mad. Like, okay, first up, I woke up two hours early, not even 2 hours early, 3 hours early, right? And then you want me to stay an extra 2 hours anyway because the original plan got canceled, but something changed down the line. It's annoying, and I understand that, like, a lot of jobs do that in oh my god, I don't know why my brain just died right there. But in the LCU, you should always sometimes expect people to not show up. But it's like, if this happens constantly, I would just be annoyed and I would demand something out of this. Like a better time slot. If I was nerds, I would have been like, can I get the milker's time slot at that point for the amount of help you've done? I mean, I would even say this is the reason why nerds is moving up, right? Like, I'm not sure if they're gonna be number 2 for long or even number 3, but hell, even if they're number 4, good on them. Let's move on.
I'm serious. I did not know. Can we ask why the fuck we're going for 4 hours? May I ask?
Apparently, something with Roxy's husband happened. So, but I don't know. I'm like still that server thing. Literally, it took me like I couldn't even fucking think about it first. Like you said it, and like my brain just like I was just like, there's just no way. Like, like people. Okay, those dating show streams, the like ones she was on in particular, those are always on some really weird corners of the internet. And to be 19 to end up there was a little interesting. I already knew there was some probably questionable internet history following with that, but this is next level. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's just so disgusting, and it's so, I don't know.
It's so heinous. I don't even really want to keep talking about it.
I
like,
don't, but at the same time, I do,
don't,
because it's just like, what the fuck? Like, we're not gonna sweep it under the rug either.
We can't, but I'm just worried about us shit. You know, like, just be careful with the words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's really is. Like, it's like legit. It's a type of thing where it's like, what?
Mesa 1123 super chatted $20. NDF. Join the NDF beans.
Will you join the NDF beans?
What is the NDF? Please let me know.
It's a defense force when we team up against the CD-ROMs, the Glammy he's in a war. It's gonna be deadly.
We're going
Eric,
to war? What did Tech Talk do?
I got this. Beans, are you ready to give your heart? I said, are you ready to give your heart, soldier?
To CD-ROM or
no, to the war! To the war! To the...
Good evening. No. So here, a little bit of information was dropped that will become important later on. Plus, also, this is where they were told they had to do a 2-hour stream. Later on, they were reminded again to do a 2-hour stream, an extra 2 hours. Later on, the information that was dropped here, it's kind of important that Popstar was in a server where people self-harmed themselves for money. Now, we're not sure how exactly true this is, but later on, somebody would come into Queen, believe it or not, and give more information about the situation, right? Because I've heard of stuff like this where people do self-harm themselves or do stuff of that nature to get money. Because there are people who are that freaky deaky who are into that kind of stuff. It is a real thing from what I've seen. Hell, I've seen that stuff as early as the early 2010s, and it, especially among female, it's very popular for certain individual male to access certain female for stuff like that. It's very disgusting and very doom and gloom. And if Popstar is into that, honestly, given that everything we've seen of her and her just general mannerism, I feel like I'm not that surprised. Now, before I move on, I forgot to mention that later on in Rewind, we'll get into it. Well, I don't think I have to clip for it from Rewind, but Rewind made a point saying that this could be a potential troll the whole thing that Popstar did, which I'm kind of split in the middle, where I think a part of it is serious, but then a part of it is not serious. Where it could be a really good elaborate troll, and if she does that, good on her. Yeah, remind myself to get that clip before we move forward. But even still, back to what we were saying about this. But really, I'm gonna hold that off. Now that I think about it, when we get into Queen, when we're giving more information.
Rastov, get the fuck. Rastov.
Fucking dude, I fucking sprained my thigh. Fuck you.
You're a liar.
This is literally what I was told would fucking happen.
Fuck. You sprained your thigh. Can you chat GPT? Can you actually sprain your thigh?
You're an idiot.
I fucking told you, cunts, and you didn't fucking listen to me.
Oh, you're worse than Jordy.
Dude,
if you injure a muscle in your thigh, like the quadriceps hamstring, that's a strain. If it's a ligament, do you think it's a ligament? You think you ripped a ligament?
I don't know. I don't care. It fucking hurts. I told you.
You're full of shit. You are full of fucking shit. There's no way. There's no way. Two jump. How many did you do? Three? Two?
It's three. On the third one, I fucking buckled because it's fucking sprained my thigh.
I know what real pain's like. I'm sorry. Oh, go fuck yourself. This is pussy shit.
Oh god, it hurts.
That's no. It does
Fuck you, dude. I'm not doing that shit again. I'm not doing it again.
Motherfucker, you understand? When you're on his property this summer, he's gonna break you down to build you up. He nearly killed you.
Not if I can't walk. Not if I can't walk.
Yeah, he nearly killed you. You better fucking learn to walk again, baby. Oh, baby, Rastov need to learn to walk again. Bitch, I had to do physical therapy to learn to walk to do this shit. Go fuck yourself. There's no way.
What just happened? Okay, you're faking it.
Tulex Vicarious super chatted $20. Pathetic. That's a wings move. Actually disappointed.
Come on, dude. You got to do the jumping jacks.
No, I'm not doing it anymore. I did fucking 3 and I hurt my leg. I'm not doing it anymore. You get fucked.
I pulled my groin earlier for about 10 minutes.
You can't sprain your thigh. You made that up.
Yes, you can. Wait, I just fucking pain in my thigh. I got told that if I did this shit, it would fuck my legs.
By who? Your doctor?
Boogie, I can't deal with this. You deal with this.
Rastov, do you understand? Do you understand? You're fucked.
$20. Rastov better learn to do jumping jacks or he'll leave Keem's property in an ICE truck.
That's true.
Yeah, well, at least I won't have to pay for my fucking flight back.
I told you, Dan. I told you.
I told you, Dan. I told you. Look, if you try to fake an organ failure like Jordy apparently did or whatever, then you have to pay for it here, bitch. You're gonna pay for the doctor here if you fake an injury here, bitch. You're fucked. You're fucked. Tell me the truth while he's gone. Tell me the truth while he's gone.
No, fucking legitimately. It fucking hurts. I fell over.
You didn't.
Yes, I did. You watched it happen.
You faked it. I'm gonna watch it back. I guarantee that shit was fake. I wasn't paying attention because I think you actually do it. Fuck, let me find the screen. Motherfucker, what hurts? Tell me what hurts, baby. Tell me what hurts.
There's a pain in my thigh.
What part of your thigh, baby? Is it near your knees?
The whole thigh.
The whole thigh. You sprained your entire thigh. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Google, can you sprain your entire thigh doing 2 jumping jacks? No, you fucking can't. He's a goddamn liar. Thank you, ChatGPT.
You didn't even ask.
I don't have to. Common fucking sense tells you.
No, it's really sore.
So live was a little interesting because, and I'm gonna be quite critical about Rastov here. On one hand, I think Rastov is a net positive in the LCU since he's a very positive-minded guy, and I think he has his personality, a relatability, and able to just talk to people as people. On the other hand, as I said before earlier, I think my initial criticism about him is that he reminds me of a friend who is very much a bit of a wuss, people pleaser, right? It's not bad to, well, I'm not saying that it's technically bad to appease people. I'm not saying it's even a good thing either. It's just how you do it, right? And having some sense of dignity about it, right? And I think Rastov kind of leans more toward not really having too much dignity sometimes. I think in this case it's a little different. We will get into a clip in Rewind where this is a bit expanded, where he finally grows a pair of balls. But one thing I can say is, well, I have 2 points. My one point is, unlike Wings Redemption, and I know I may get hate from some of the Wings detractor, but you can't deny, at least when Wings was given, like, hey, what's your opinion about this? He gave an opinion rather than sitting there and just giving, like, not even like a sentence or even a proper response. He just gave out like sound effects, like, wow, crazy, oh damn, oh that's sad. It's not even like real response. It's like sound effect. And that's not really, in a way, you can say that he's lazy. And I think that is a a good case that he is quite lazy. That, you're on a show where they occasionally will talk about American politics, and like, you should at least give an opinion, right? It's kind of weird because, like, if you're in the Anglican sphere, or the Anglosphere, however you pronounce it, right? A lot of them do have opinions about American politics. It's very common from what I've seen among people like Australia, Canada, Britain, even New Zealand, South Africa, the former British Empire, right? Where they have some varying opinion of American politics. Yeah, Rastov can't even do the bare minimum. Like, even if Rastov does not care, and we've seen Wings of Redemption not care, but at least he attempted. And I think people are willing to forgive Rastov more if he attempted to give an opinion. Because if you just give a sound effect, then you just look like an idiot. It's just annoying. But again, as I said before, early on in this video, and even multiple times in other videos, your expectation in the LCU should not be high, and it should be like literally on the ground, like that low, like into the dirt even, where the worms live, right? Where fossil fuel is found, right? Where oil, right? But and that's how I feel. Again, even if he just made up a bullshit opinion that he doesn't even agree with, or he just makes like, just a guess of what's going on and try to give a response, I think people would be okay with it. And on the other hand, like, as much as Wings gave like pushback on a lot of the challenges, he always said he's willing to do it for money and if it's reasonable, right? Within reason. And Rastov can't even do. Like, he can just be like, well, I'm willing to do something. It gotta be within reason. Like, I can do a push-up. I can do maybe some type of exercise. Like, something that people would pay for. And it's kind of bringing down the show a bit. Now, I don't know what it's going to be like on Tuesday's stream. If he's going to, like, grow more parambolic and clap back. Hopefully he does. But it's like, dude... Like, maybe on other shows you'll be better, but on the LCL, people expected more, and people want more, and people want to see you do more. Just simply being there and giving a sound effect response is not giving much. And again, your expectation when it's coming to the LCL should not be very high, and I always remind myself that, hey, don't have a high opinion and don't expect much. But till then, we're gonna move on because there was some information dropped about Boogie, but we'll get into that when we get into it in Queen. Oh, foreshadowing.
Telling the story of how you found out this, how you know about the group, etc. And then if any information you have, you could send to me on the side. We'll put it up for context.
Well, there's really no extra information to send. Mostly what I was getting was basically firsthand like information from Popstar while she was in the Dolls VC.
Oh, so she told you.
Yeah, she was talking to everybody. Her and Brantley were fighting back and forth all night long, like a whole 4 hours going, pretty much.
So
wait a minute.
So
she fought with my butter biscuit? She fought with my butter biscuit?
So Brantley heard this too?
Yeah.
Oh shit, so they haven't called this out?
I think I was the first person to bring it up, actually. And then Beans said it again on Nerds. I was like, oh, thank God somebody's corroborating what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like I'm a crazy person. Because I felt like I kind of like sounded stupid on Dolls when I went on. Because I was like, yeah, it's like a comm server is what she said. And I was trying not to say it in like a way that was like TOS violation because I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. So I was like, we'll just move on for that from right now. And then I guess she dug into it and figured out what was up with it. And that's why Beans posted that later.
Wait a minute. So Brantley was in there too. So Keen probably would have heard it from Brantley if she was in there. Or what?
If it was thrown out during a heated argument, you miss over certain levels of information, right?
They went from topic to topic to topic in like 5 seconds because Brantley would confront Popstar on something, and then Popstar would just move on to another topic, so she really wouldn't have to answer what she was getting called out for in the first place.
Oh wow!
From Brantley.
Okay.
So you heard it, Beans heard it. Obviously, Beans forwarded the information, so she's definitely on that side. Did anybody else like correlate this information about what they heard her say, or was it other people just had a
that was one of the to me that was one of the main things that stood out because that just sounded so insane when I heard it because she described what these people were doing in these servers. So I don't know if she was just in it or she knows about them.
Okay.
But to me, from what I've gathered is the way I heard it, and this is just me. I heard that she said she was in these servers. I didn't hear anything about that monetization. I just heard about it that she was in these places where these people were doing that kind of stuff.
So where they were like injuring themselves for monetization.
Yeah, I didn't hear the monetization part, just the harming part.
Oh,
that's the part I heard. And then Beans came out with the monetization part.
Okay.
Because I didn't hear that part. But we were in there for a long time. Everybody was having a little drinky poo. So I don't want to say 100% she was doing that stuff in that server because I don't know for sure.
Good job.
No,
if you don't know for sure. Yeah, it's better that way.
I feel like even if you weren't doing it, you don't really want to affiliate yourself with people that are doing that, right? Like doing that kind of stuff, or like again, like obviously the monetization. I know you say you didn't say monetization, but that's obviously got picked up by Beans. So like doing it for monetization
she may have heard this,
stuff.
because Beans wasn't there at the time when all this was going down. She must have heard this from Brantley, and Brantley must have cleared it up to her after I went on Dolls. Because Brantley probably heard what I was saying on Dolls and was like, "Oh, I remember this," and then told Beans about it. Okay. And Beans had that text from I don't know where it's from.
If we got that clip for Dolls, then so we can actually listen to this and figure out what was said exactly, because that would be useful. Because if we can get that up, do you know what the timestamp for you being up there and confronting her about the situation?
Ooh, that is a good question. Well, Popstar wasn't there. She was there for the first 5 minutes, did her little presentation, and then dipped.
Okay.
She said, "Okay, deuces, bye," and then dipped.
So you were on that stream, so you didn't confront her directly about it?
No, I was gonna. That's why I was like in members waiting.
Okay.
And then they asked, "Hey, do y'all want to comment on like what all's been going on with her?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I guess I better now because I've been waiting. So better go ahead and say my piece."
Okay, this ain't fun for me. So let's drop this subject. Go on.
So here we have somebody actually going into much more detail about the situation with Popstar and how what she may be getting involved in is a little bit questionable at best, right? Very much like ooh, that's probably not a good thing, right? As I said, there is sort of that weird side of the internet, and even even they were disgusted by this because why would one of their people be involved? Now, I would also say that a lot of these hosts have been involved in some questionable stuff, but not to this kind of level where it is borderline self-harming and self-disgusting. Like you can't really. I wouldn't know, because I feel like if you're gonna drop info, there has to be more than simply just, well, this was what happened and a lot of people know about this. Now they bring up, I guess being brought up something about monetization, and again, it wouldn't be too shocking if she got paid to self-harm. With, let's be real, this is just an allegation, which I should have probably said earlier, but it's just an allegation that is coming out, right? It's just an allegation. Right. If she is monetizing self-harm, then she needs therapy. She needs some serious help, because you can't let that slide, right? And it's why I believe it was Nerd or the Dolls, but I believe it was not even them. I think it was even Rewind. Somebody came out and I think they said, we're talking about it now so it doesn't get swept under the rug, because oh boy, because this does not look good, right? This does not look good for anybody in the LCU, right? If it's discovered that she is self-harming herself for money, right? That doesn't look, but this could also, on the other hand, you can, maybe on the other hand, this can be like an elaborate troll as well, where maybe she's just saying stuff as an attempt to, garner some type of clout. But even then, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure about that, right? I think a lot of this can go in any direction. And again, if there's more proof, let Popstar say something about it, and she can prove that, oh, this is a elaborate troll, or I'm just in the community because of a friend and I'm trying to save a friend and this is what's going on. Unless you can actually try to prove the situation in her favor, this doesn't look good for anybody, especially within the LCU. right? Imagine like you're working with somebody who is self-harming herself for money. But then again, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some people I've seen some people do some questionable stuff. But you know, again, we'll have to wait and see. Now we're gonna move on to something related to Boogie. Boogie, oogie, boogie.
Never mind if it's bothering Desi, never mind. I said, fuck it, I pressured her into it, and I put a hole in the wall because I know what the audience really wants, right? It's just a wall. It's $2,000 for the damage. We'll get it fixed. The show will pay for most of it. It's okay. Here we are 2 weeks later. I guess I don't know what's happening. But the point that I'm making is Keem's not at fault here. I'm not at fault here. Desi's not at fault here. This is just a hard situation, and we have to figure our shit out.
Do you think you guys are gonna figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, I think. Look,
She loves them too much.
She loves her parents. She loves her parents. She loves her animals. She loves everything else, and she wants to be there, and I get it. Here's the. I was gonna save this for live. I guess I'll say it here. I'm a sick, dying old man. She's a young woman. I'm about to drop. She knows I was going to propose this summer. She knows.
Right.
And I need her to make a decision of whether or not she wants to be with me as I grow old. This woman doesn't get to grow old with me, and that sucks. And she deserves to grow old with her soulmate, and that sucks. And it just fucking sucks. And my heart is fucking breaking because I want to marry this girl, and I just don't know if it's the right decision. And I'm just so fucking scared of hurting her, man.
I know, but that's good though. Do you know why? Because it shows you give a fuck, and you can tell she gives a fuck. Because
Now here is an interesting piece of information that did get more expanded later on in Queens, where they talk about the situation with Boogie and Desi. Now, you can say for the longest period of time, there's been some tension among the both of them in their relationship. They're older in age, they have different personality, they have way different history, right? Going back to the age thing, people have made a bunch of jokes and a whole bunch of allegations and rumors about their relationship, right? Desi is in her early 20s. Boogie's he is in his 50s going into 60. That's a huge gap, and not even like gap, but that's a huge generational gap on top of that, right? And I think because of and also because of the career path that Boogie has now is in. Now, Boogie did mention toward the end of live that him and that Daddy were packing and that she was leaving. And then again, in Queens, it was heavily expanded. I did forget to mention about the health situation where obviously Desi is, I guess, more healthier than Boogie, even though sometimes he looks very ghoulish, right? But that's not here or there, because, I mean, that's been explained a few times. I mean, it sucks when you go through a breakup, but at the same time, on the other hand, like, I think people were expecting Desi to leave for a while. Now he did mention that it's not a permanent thing, right? It is a temporal thing, right? She is gonna go for a little bit. I think Richie Dubs mentioned or commented that she's only going to her family for a bit of time to go see her family. So I hope that's really more of the situation and Boogie just kind of lying and manipulating the situation. It could go, I could see that easily being the case as well. It could be that she's going to see her family because her family, something's happening in her family, and Boogie, to make content, is just gonna like over exaggerate it to attempt to make content. So it can both of those could be true no matter what. But let's say they are just taking a break, right? Let's say they are just not dating for a while and they want some time apart, right? That can also be a case, right? I think all three could technically still be a thing regardless. I mean, she has visited her family before, right? And again, there's a massive age gap. And as Boogie said later on in Queen, is that like he is fearful that still has to live the rest of her life without him. I mean, it's not like Boogie can't fix his health now, right? It's not like he can't attempt to like get his health back to normal, even at this point of his life. I've seen a lot of people that's a desperate attempt to get their life back together, even in old age, to get healthy, and it's very common. And I've seen them be a lot more happier and able to live a longer life. Now, whether or not Boogie is going to do that is up to him in the end of the day. And also going into something we talk about is the just general stuff of the LCL, how it is very stressful. Something that even Boogie kind of did mention here, that he is kind of worried about Rastov, because when he goes to, and I think it was also in, and I forgot to mention this because this was in live too, Keem will break Rastov. It's just who he is. He's going to push him to his limit. So I think there's like an added amount of stress on a lot of fronts. 1, relating to Rastov. 2, related to the LCL and content. 3, about his relationship. And 4, about his potential health. A lot of things that are adding a lot of, stress. On the other hand, one thing I can probably say is Desi, even if, Desi did sign up for this, she is dating a guy who is a public figure at this point, and it's a well-known name among local people. I think if she didn't want to be a part of that, or if she didn't expect it to get to where it's at now, I mean, she had a multiple opportunity to leave. I think if she knew how things were going to play out, I don't think they would have dated. I'm just going to be honest. And maybe you can say that this proves that she's a gold digger. I don't necessarily believe that, but we'll have to wait and see if she does come back. But again, as I said, it's probably what it is, as Richie Dove mentioned, that she's just going to see her family for a bit. And I also think that just the added stress from the LCL and just from the general LCU, I think they're still kind of dating, as that they need space for each other for a bit of time. So, they don't go crazy or something bad happens. But we'll have to move on to Rewind.
They literally just listened to you to come in. Tina texted me and asked me to come in. Tina texted me and asked me to come in.
Cool. Good for you. That doesn't mean that you didn't ruin the show. It was fucking boring because you just loop and loop and loop. I'm not surprised Dizzy's leaving. I don't blame him.
Not surprised your dad left. Not surprised your dad left. Not surprised your dad left.
Oh, good on you, bro. Make more fucking suicide
Hey, talk about
jokes.
my dad jerking me off some more. Talk about my dad molesting
Maybe if you
me.
did a good job.
I'll be honest, Rastov. I would rather my dad kill himself than fucking molest me. So that's a W. That's a W for Rastov.
If the choice is one, jerk him off or watch him kill himself, I would have went with kill himself personally.
That's a Rastov W right there.
So you're also so now you're jealous about the way that my dad died? Like, congratulations, I guess.
No, I'm jealous of the fact that you weren't molested, princess. That's what I'm jealous over.
This is an amazing conversation we're having right now.
Why are you ruining Rewind too? Like, you've ruined Queens, that's cool. You ruined Live, that's fine.
I won't be here. They like me here. They like me here. If not, they'd ask me to leave.
I feel bad because my dad just died from being old.
And my dad drowned in his own blood from black lung and lung cancer. Karma kicked him right in the dick. Nobody gives me any fucking pity. I held my mother's hand when she died. Nobody gives me any fucking pity. I have no pity for you. I have no pity for you.
That's because you're a piece of shit. That fake cancer. Congratulations.
I don't give a fuck who died in your life. Do your job. Guess what? When you clock in at McDonald's, they don't give a fuck who died in your life. Do your job. Oh, my dad died 3 years ago. Doesn't matter. Fry the French fries. Put them in the bag. Shut the fuck up.
His father passed a long time ago, right?
you're the one that brought this up. Like,
you're
the one that brought this shit up, dude.
No, you're the one that brought my dad molesting me up. You brought it up several times.
Not with this conversation.
Nope.
I have the proof.
And Boogie,
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If it's my trauma's on the table, his trauma's on the table. You don't.
That's what you've got. That's what you've got.
To be fair, I think
this is the most interesting thing about you.
I think all your.
So in Rewind, Rastov and Boogie just hash it out big time. They were just, going at each other's throats, calling each other's name and bringing up their past trauma. Boogie was quote unquote molested by his dad, and Razov father ended his life in Minecraft. Very traumatic situation, both their life. And Razov's closer to my age, and I can sort of understand what he goes through. Obviously, I never had my own dad do something like that. But I met people whose dads have been through that, so, you know. But even so, I think this is where Razov started to grow a pair of balls and to start to clap back harder on Boogie, because Boogie has been extremely hard on Razov. Now, I will give Boogie this credit, is that on the grounds of Razov is not quite the most entertaining guy in the LCL. Maybe on other shows where he's there, he's a lot more entertaining. But I think the problem is, I think what it is, you know, and how I'm going to say this is, I don't think he has had enough time to really properly cook, and he would pull from a smaller show into a major big show. I think wow, I cannot speak. I think it was a way for the LCL to kind of attract more of a wholesome audience. That's why they had Razov. But I think even besides that point, right? Besides that particular point I just made, it's good to see Razov has, growing a pair of balls and fighting back. Now, I'm not sure how long this will last. I'm not sure how long this will go, but we'll have to wait and see. Later on, Rewind, they kind of went into the whole popstar, and this is where they made I think it was either, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember. I think this is where Billy said that, or I think it was either Billy or Xylee said that it was this could be a potential troll from Popstar. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait till more development comes out of it. We'll have to wait and see.
Background as I'm crunching numbers.
$13.56. Nightmare, let's have a cup of Earl Grey. It's Tuesday.
Fucking Earl Grey. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do Yorkshire tea, don't you, mate? You fucking psychopath.
And I heard you say my name, and I was like, "What the hell?" And yeah, I talked to several people who were in there when apparently Pup was saying it. I've already talked to like 3 people.
So, with the accusation with the claim I put out on Queens, you want about that?
Okay, which claim are you talking about? I'm talking about the self-harm Discord.
Yeah. So the thing that Glow was it that mentioned about how she's apparently part of a Discord server where people self-harm for profit.
I talked to Glow, and I talked to 2 other people. Now, Glow and one person said that they don't remember hearing about the for-profit part.
Yeah.
And
Beans
the third person, well, no, Beans didn't add it. The person who sent it to Beans said it, I believe.
Oh.
I believe. Hold on. Yeah, they were. I think that's what they said. I have to find it.
Okay.
But anyway, I talked to him, and honestly, what it sounds like is she's not in there anymore.
Okay, but she was a part of it. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like from the way they were talking, it sounds like she was from what she's saying. Now, then again, let's see, hold on. Yeah, okay. The person who told Beans about it, where she tagged me and Billy, it says, "Don't mean to bother you. I'm in YouTube jail till Wednesday." But she said she was in a VC where people recorded themselves harming themselves and get paid to hurt themselves and talk about hurting themselves. So it was given to Beans. And I got a hold of the person that Beans was talking to. And I, messaged back and forth with them. And yeah, it sounds like to me she was a part of. I don't know if she's like currently in there.
Yeah, that's gnarly though. I've heard about them, but I didn't realize they were actually a thing. I mean, it makes sense because unfortunately anything fucking exists when it comes to monetization.
Oh, absolutely.
All them leaks about the deep web way back in the day and stuff, like people amputating themselves from profit and stuff like that, selling their organs and shit. Like it makes sense that those exist, but it's still fucking gnarly as fuck. Like,
yeah, I couldn't imagine being in something like that. But it's also the interwebs, and bro, there's the sickest motherfuckers you can think of.
Discord is like the perfect place for people to do shit like that, isn't it? Because like fucking like wasn't it like 2021 or something like that, 2022, where they found out like a group of like extremist terrorists were organizing shit in a Discord like fucking channel? Like what the fuck? And they would be doing it for years.
They're always catching shit like that. I'm gonna be honest, it's one of the reasons why I'm one of those people that I feel like it's a big deal that honestly Discord shouldn't even be open for. I mean, granted, people under 18 are going to slip in, but they have to at least be 18 years old to join.
I completely agree. I think with most forms, if not all forms of social media in general, I think there needs to be an age like tie-in put into it because like
oh my god, Twitter! Like you have full blown porn on Twitter. I don't want my 13-year-old to go on Twitter and see that shit. The hell?
Legit. You're absolutely right, and I think it's what when it comes into like fucking like Tumblr, that didn't really have a secure age rating, and that was literally made for pornography. Like you know what I mean? Or
Really? See, I don't
promoted
know.
for pornography.
Here we are with some tests. So in tests, they went over a little bit the popstar situation again in more detail. I forgot to mention that later on, Nightmare would run nerds just a little bit. We'll get into nerds when we get into nerds because I forgot to mention that nerds and rewind are going, not nerds and rewind. I mean nerds and tech are going to war. We'll get into that when we get into it. I forgot to mention that in the nerd thing because there was other stuff that was more important. But back into Tess, I think that was Xylee who came in and explaining more stuff in detail about the situation about Popstar and how 18-year-olds shouldn't be on certain social media, which I do kind of agree. That I think a lot of that's 18, that anyone who's under the age of 18 shouldn't really be on social media. For obvious reason. That's really all. Let's move on.
You weren't being too supportive or open about it. That's why you've gathered.
So that's part of it. It's not that I wasn't supportive. I was happy to do that with them. I was just kind of having a bad day. Because I had to run the stream, and I've maintained for a lot. Like I've said this a lot of times. Okay. I'm very, very critical of my work, right? And when I screw up, it bothers me. And I kind of screwed up the beginning of that stream. I just kind of botched it.
That happens.
Yeah, it does. I just kind of botched it. I broke a couple things. And normally I try not to let it bother me, but like when you do that on stream and then the stream is just kind of on the internet forever, it just kind of looks bad, right? So,
dude, if you think you're bad, don't worry. I literally went live on Queens for a few seconds by mistake. Like I literally did. I haven't even watched it. I had 137 views over there. Let's fucking go. They thought it was Becky with a drunk stream because for some reason, ever since OBS is updated, if you click start streaming and there's no scheduled stream, it'll make one. Which is really fucking irritating.
Right.
And I don't know why. So the first time it happened was with Cafe when I helped him out with the stream, right? And I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot to change that.
Okay, final clip. So besides Nightmare helping out the tech guys, Glammy wasn't there at all. Now, as I said about as I said before about nerds and tech kind of going to war, the reason was because have to do with CD-ROM kind of just not being in a good mood, which sounds like a flimsy excuse. I think they're just trying to have fun and try to build up more entertaining and more views for everybody. I think deep down, I think the war that nerds is declaring on tech, it's not really anything malicious. It's just more on the grounds of just trying to give them more views so they can rise up among the ranks, right? That's what it really comes down to. But also I think it's just sort of the general attitude that Tech Talk just had, particularly from CD-ROM, who's highly emotional. Like he's very, very emotional on a lot of things. And when they confronted about this whole war thing, he just said I just give up, you guys win, and it's just not even a fight. I understand that certain people are very much about non-confrontational, and I think one or two denominations, I think it's Anabaptists, I believe, or Anabaptists or Baptists, I can't remember which one, are notoriously known for being very passive, being very pretty much pacifist. Because I know CD-ROM is Christian, I just don't know, I'm not sure what denomination. He could be Protestant, right? Whatever. But if he is something like an Anabaptist, it would make sense that he's very much more of a pacifist. But my thing is, my thing is about this is dude, just have fun with them. It's not like they're being really malicious. Just have fun with it. Go to war with them. Throw some shit around. Just enjoy yourself rather than being serious all the time. And I think I think he's learning to have more fun in the LCU, but you can tell that he's not there yet. That's all I have to say. More to come. Till next time. God bless.